Guys, if you haven't already, make sure to follow the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. It helps us more than you could imagine.
No, I wanted to actually ask you a question about something that popped up. And you mentioned like this might have been the reason why you got a guard dog, but there was a story about your house actually getting robbed. Am I right? And the only thing they took was like an I'm a Celeb bag or something like that.
Yes.
So what's the story with that then?
So the Mucky Mansion, my house. So I'm going back now.
Is that what you call it?
Well, no, the press named it Mucky Mansion.
Mucky.
Mucky. Now the reason why the press feel the press feel that they have the right to fly drones over my property.
What?
Yeah. So it was about 2 years ago. I was introduced to a guy who said he wants to turn my house. It's got 11 bedrooms. It's got stables, tennis court, 10 acres.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that to be big-headed. I'm just explaining why he come to me because of the plot that I've got. Mm-hmm. He said, would you ever turn your house into a wedding venue? He said, you know, we could take down the tennis court, build you a brand new house on that. And because of your land, he said you can have the wedding venue because you've got the garden, that we could put log cabins all in your field. The stables, we'd get new market yearlings in there, and we'd do a gallop track all around your field. So I thought, bloody hell, this sounds amazing.
This provided you're living there as well, and weddings are just going on.
No, I wasn't there. I wasn't really living there.
Okay.
And so we got all the plans, sat with my mum, and we're like, wow, well, it sounds like a bloody dream come true. He said, you'll make a fortune from it and stuff. And I thought, well, the house is just sitting there. I'm not really doing anything with the house. Why not have like racehorses, yearlings there, you know. Then I've got the wedding venue, and then I'll have a brand new house being built on the tennis court. It can all be sectioned off. Great. Who wouldn't do it? So I was like, yeah. And I was filming my show at the time for Quest, my reality show. So every time I went to the house, I would see like diggers there and scaffolding going up on the house. I'd go in the house, and then they're starting emptying the house out, and I had some containers, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, he's starting to do stuff for me.
Yeah.
And then, cut the long story short, I thought his name was Andrew George. I mean, it's all in the papers, so you can see it and you can Google his name. I thought his name was Andrew George. And cause it's all on the T-shirts, it all looked legit.
So people were just walking around with Andrew George on there.
Yeah, it's him. And he's on my show talking, I'm going to do this wedding venue. Cut the long story short, his real name is Andrew Chatters. You can Google the man. He's been arrested in prison twice for doing exactly the same to me as he's done to everyone else, fraud. He's done the worst fly tipping on my land that they've seen. He's earned about £1.2 million from it. He's stolen all my carpet, all my floor, and everything out of my house has gone. He's completely wrecked my house. So when you fly a drone over it, of course it looks a mess because it's been fly tipped on.
Yeah.
So on top of, so obviously that's a police investigation. So if you Google the man, it says exactly the same. He finds people with properties like mine, and he says the new market yearlings. You can read it all online if you look.
It's just
at
the same sales
format.
pitch. Yeah.
When I showed the police the plans, they're like, "Kate, these are fake." And I said, "Well, how do you know?" He said, "Well, look, this dress doesn't even exist. This, that, and his name's Andrew Chatters. You can see his mugshot, everything online." So that's that. So I can't live back in there. He's ripped everything out, my family home, and then someone who knows me, I don't know who it was. They broke into my house because it's sitting there. On the second floor, they knew I wouldn't be there. Turned on my tap, knowing it would overflow. So the whole first floor ceiling collapsed all into the lounge.
Holy
You could see it online. Actually, you could see it on YouTube because we filmed it.
Yeah.
And then a month ago, when it was snowing, one of the pipes burst on the very top floor. So more ceilings have collapsed.
This is a cursed house.
It's definitely haunted. I've got pictures. If you Google me and the little boy in the house, you'll see, I put it on my Instagram, me taking a picture of a little boy sitting on the top floor, sitting like that. I've got pictures of a guy going through the milk, because I videoed it, and I put it all on Instagram. You can Google it, and me talking to a candle flame and it responding. Everyone thought I was
what?
My
No,
friends.
this sounds mental. You know, this sounds like the.
No, I'm telling you, my
Really?
fucking life is nuts. I've had my friends in tears when I've brought up stuff about them that I didn't know for their family by talking to the candle. I've done Ouija boards.
There's
Yes,
like
you'll
this candle.
see it on. Yeah, you'll see it on Instagram. Me talking to it, telling the flame to go high, low, high, low. I've done Ouija boards, everything. Anyway, now the house is completely clear. I now want to... Chris now wants me to do another ghost hunt in it and a Ouija board. If you're up for it, come and join.
Fuck that.
Do you hate that?
No, it sounds like whatever's going on in that house needs to be left in that house.
But anyway, I'm getting it all cleared. So I'm decided now to revamp the house. I'm going to move back in, but nothing can be the same. I have to have new windows because I can't
Everything.
mentally.
Yeah.
Because I went to the Priory last year for 5 weeks as an inpatient because of all the shit that I've gone through and the kidnap and like the hijack. I just ended up in there and the house. So now I've come out, I can actually now step in my house and I feel all right. So now I'm like, do you know what? If it is haunted there, I'm going to get rid of you and I'm turning this house back around and I'm going to live back in it. So I'm turning it back around.
Yeah,
even though it's half a police investigation because of the fly tipping. Oh, you just couldn't make up my life. There's just always something.
Sounds like the craziest shit I've ever heard.
It
just happens to you.
Always happens to me.
So has that guy gone back into prison? Has he been arrested
No,
for it? Or
because
like
at
what
the
happens?
time, before I went in the Priory, that just built up to it. My house, what's he done to my house, this, that. And if anyone's had mental health problems or build up or stuff, you end up, everything just being a noise, you're like that. You just sort of go, oh, I don't know what to deal with. What do I deal with first? You just think everything's chaos, you can't deal with it. So I went in there, which was amazing. I would love to do a documentary on mental health hospitals because the shit that goes on there and people's stories and what people go through is so fascinating.
How long were you in there for?
5.5 weeks. I was an impact. I wanted to be. I wasn't put in there. I put myself in there.
Oh, is that what happens? You say, right,
I went and saw a doctor and just said how I felt and all of that.
Yeah.
And the story, when you're in there, it's amazing what people, you get like a lot of American military people in there who in the military, I don't know if a lot of people know that PSTD is so bad that they literally take you to places like the Priory and then you're expected to get on with your life again, which is hard for soldiers and stuff. There's a lot of that, a lot of businessmen in there who are living high lives but now they can't keep it up and they're stressed a bit because of the family. And I mean, you get all sorts of people in there. I wasn't with the alcohol or drug bit. I was with like
I couldn't end up there. I'm the only one here drinking, but
even that was fascinating. I mean, you just couldn't make up my life.
So
the things I've seen.
You see, like in those, what do they call them? Like a mental institute, a mental like what's the?
But it is, I suppose. Yeah, you get people on suicide watch in there.
I was about to say. So are you? Yeah.
Can't
So how does that happen? How at what point do you go?
You out. You have all different wings for different things.
Do you not feel that compounds to like having
I
worse
needed
headspace?
It's like I
Like
can't
you're
get out of
trapped
here.
in somewhere.
No, because you work so hard in there. It's like from 8 till 6 every day. It's like being at school. You are in sessions, group sessions or single sessions. And I think when you sit there anyway, and it's like they reprocess your brain and you go around in circles, say your name. You know how you sit in the movies, they say your name and you say what's gone on. Yeah. And you sit there, listen to people. Some people who think, oh my God, are you only in here for that? You don't say it.
Yeah.
And you think, God, if you've gone through what I've gone through, how would you cope with that? I mean, everyone copes differently with mental health stuff. And some of the stories you hear are absolute horrific. And you think, fuck, it's like me reading a book about like, have you ever read the book like David Peltzer? A Child Called It? No. It was about a mum who abused her child so bad, like make him drink bleach, make him eat Tuppy sick and try to burn him and kept him out. There was a woman in there and she had a life like that and all the granddads were all, abusing her. And you'd sit there and you'd think, fuck, that's happened to you. And you're such a nice girl. And she's like, well, I can't say.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And you'd think, how's that happened to you? And you think of their life, what they've had. I mean, it's fascinating to hear people's journeys, that why we're all in there for different things.
Yeah.
But it's so clever how they redo your brain.
Would you say it was you know how you sort of admitted yourself into there? Would you say you were glad you did that?
Yes.
Or do you look back and go, oh, I wish I never went in there?
No, it's the year before I know I needed help because I was taking on so much and I couldn't cope with it. And then the media doesn't help with their stories.
Yeah.
So everyone was like, you need to get help. I was like, okay, I'll do it. So I was in as a day patient, going in and then coming out. Okay. But I only did that because everyone else wanted me to. So I didn't really stick to it. And this time I did it myself and I knew I needed to get help because I knew I wasn't me.
Yeah.
And that's like anyone out there, unless it doesn't matter how many people say, oh, you're an alcoholic, or you're this, you're that, you've got to stop this, stop that. You kind of resent people like that. If you want to get help, you'll get help. If you want to do it, you'll do it. You'll wake up one day and say, do you know what? I do want to do this. And when you decide that, you do it. It don't matter how many people, people would say to you, Kate, look, you need to go and see doctor. You're not fine. I know you're not. Look, you've lost your spark. You're this. I'm like, I'm fine. What you want? I'm fine. Even though inside I'm thinking, I know, but I'm fine. I'll be all right. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Or I didn't want to pick up the phone to people because I'd be like, oh no, what do they want? And it gets like that. But now I'm completely different. I'm so glad I do it. And now I could never imagine myself in there now because I know how far I've come.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, I must have been bad when I was in there. Because when I watch programs about things like that, documentaries, because I love them, I sometimes think, blimey, I felt that low at one point. But now I can never imagine being in that place, which shows how far I've come.
Yeah, that must be a nice thing to be able to look back and just be like,
so
I've come
refreshing.
so far
it's
from
like,
You know
I
that-
needed it, did it, come out of it. So anyone who hits rock bottom, you can get to, you just got to help yourself.